So we get the pawn out of the way. So this video we're going to tackle the queen. So drag and drop to create that backdrop item. Comes in really, really big, so we'll probably scale it down quite a bit, just like last time. And again, if I need a frame of reference, we haven't really went over measuring tools yet. We'll call that about good. So again, this is a new clean file with nothing in it except for now this backdrop item. So I'm going to drop in that same 12-sided cylinder. I can take this guy, give it a new material, call it queen, hit OK. Material transparency, transparent amount, we'll just do that key 20% again. That seems to work pretty well. And then let's scale this down. And this guy, we'll just kind of start from the same way that we started the pawn. So about right here. And again, I'm just going to go to that front view. And again, this one I'll go over fairly quickly. I don't think there's really going to be anything new. It's just the top portion is going to be different. So let's try to hammer through this kind of quick. So extrude, scale up, extrude, move up, extrude. Actually, let's scale in first. Then we'll move it up. So this one's a little bit different. I will do my loop slice technique, bevel, and we have that rounded area now. This one, what I'm actually going to do is select this edge of, or this ring of edges. So again, going around the top right here. And I'll just bevel this. Oops. That's going to give me a shape that looks something like this. Again, I could make this a little bit more rounded with my bevels, but we want to keep it fairly low so it's simple to work with. Extrude, pull this up. Now we have another one of these, so I'll extrude, pull this up, and just making things a little bit different. Extrude, scale this up. Now this ring of polygons, what I'm going to do just to make things a little bit different is I middle mouse click lasso select it to get this little loop. Another thing you could do if you want is if I select this polygon and then this one and I hit the up arrow, it's going to select the next in the pattern. So again, you can do patterns of this one and then this one, and that'll select every other one. Or maybe you want to select two and then hit the L key. That'll loop it all the way around. A bunch of different ways to select stuff in here. So what I'm going to do from here is do a extrude, which again I'm doing a lot of hotkeys, but again it's right here. Right click, switch to scale. I'm going to grab this green guy, scale it out. And again, this should work fairly well. So from here I can double click this edge, B to bevel, bevel both of them, pull these in. Only thing I want to be careful of is I don't want to, let's undo that real quick, get rid of our backdrop image. I don't want to pull this bevel out until these two edges kind of go past each other. That can kind of screw stuff up. So again, now you can see I have a weird shape within a shape. It looks a little goofy. So again, just be mindful that these don't overcross each other. So again, like this, just pull it out a little bit and call it good. So we'll deal with the top in a little bit. That's a little bit unique of an area. So this comes to about right here, actually. Let's grab this, just scale it out just a little bit so it's a little more tapered. Polygon, middle mouse select, scroll down. And instead of doing that bevel technique, we'll just eyeball this. So bring it down about that same distance, scale it out, extrude, pull down, scale out, one more time, extrude, pull down, and scale out. So extrude, scale out, extrude, pull down. Oops, I didn't pull that down straight, so we're going to undo that. Switch back to the move tool. Oops, didn't get the extrude in there. There we go. Just so you can see what's going on here. There was this edge, then I extruded it and scaled it out to right here, and I extruded it again and pulled it down. So from here, select the edges, pull these out. If I wanted to, I could grab this little edge here, do a little tiny bevel on here to make it a little rounder. Kind of have fun with this. So select the polygon, select that bottom polygon. Thing I want to be cautious of, let's turn this backdrop item off, is right here. I know there's a polygon down here, so I don't want to grab these edges and extrude them. I want to actually grab the polygon, there we go, and do an extrude, because it'll give us this result. If I was to grab these edges, do an edge extender and extrude and pull this down, I'm going to get this scenario. So these polygons come down, then there's a hole here, and then there's just a polygon sitting here. I could technically just double click this and bridge this, do whatever. But now I have a polygon, and then inside of this polygon is another polygon. So that's just a messy mesh. We really don't want to do that. So just be careful and know when you're extruding and whatnot. And again, something like that, mesh cleanup's not going to really understand that, so you can't really rely on that one. So just be kind of cautious when you're doing this stuff. So this has kind of a gradual slope to it. So let's do something like this. So instead of using the bevel tool, we'll just extrude, pull down. And we're just eyeballing this somewhere in here. Just middle mouse select. And I'm just going to bring these down. Now I'm in edge mode and I'm just double clicking at edge loop. Just adjusting this a little bit. I'm just getting kind of the shape that I want. I'm making mine a little bit different than this one. But again, as long as that general shape is there, we'll be fine. There we go. Something like that is going to be fine for this. Again, a little bit different than the given one, but we kind of like it. So from here, we kind of have a series of little swoops, and then this thing comes up. We're not going to model these out at this point, this detailed. Definitely could. It's not really all that challenging. If you want to give it a try, you definitely can. But again, I just want to keep this as simple as possible. So I'm going to actually do is from here, we'll extrude this, pull it up, scale it out just a little bit. And then from here, I'm going to do an extrude. I'm going to scale it in. And then I'm going to do an extrude. And I'm going to pull it down and scale it in. Now we have a little bit of a lip here. Now I'm going to do an extrude, scale, pull it up, extrude, pull it up, scale it in. And we're just going to kind of round this off. Oops, I want to make sure we're pulling that directly up. So we have a good amount of geometry to work with, so let's turn our reference back on. This is something, mine's a little bit too high, so what we're going to do here is just grab this. Let's turn this reference off. We know that we went a little bit too high, so we can just adjust these just a little bit. So somewhere in here, that's probably fine. And again, we'll undo that. There we go. Grab this guy, do an extrude, pull it up, scale it in. And we'll address this little button up top. Again, we're going to do that same cylinder, 12 by 8, should be fine. So again, after I right click, I want to make sure this says 12 by 8. And if I right click and drag left or right or up or down, it'll dynamically change these numbers. I really didn't go over that when we were doing primitive shapes, but we want this to be 12 by 8. Spacebar to drop the tool. Scale tool, scale this down quite a bit. We'll do that same scenario where we take these bottom two loops, get it right here, and again, when I'm moving this, I'm moving it directly up and down, and I'm scaling it from the center. Last thing I want to do is have this accidentally over here, and then I have to kind of eyeball it. If I just scale this from the center mass and move it directly up and down, I don't have to worry about it being moved away from kind of world center. So grab this polygon, hit delete. Now let's make this a little bit bigger so it lines up. Double click, edge, bridge, right click, spacebar. These guys are now connected, so I could even, if I wanted to, remove one of those loops. Other thing, you'll notice these guys aren't transparent and these ones are, so I can grab those. Again, all these are already transparent, so if I accidentally reassign it to this queen material, it's not a big deal at all. So from here, what I could do is I could grab every other one of these, and we kind of have that pattern down. So I can grab this one, skip this one, grab this one, hit that up arrow. I can move these down just a little bit, grab this one, move this one up a little bit. And again, it's not as fancy as this one, but it definitely works. And again, we want to keep things kind of simple, but from here, it looks pretty good. Reads as a queen pretty well, so we'll call it good. So I'll go ahead and save this, and then this should be pretty acceptable for the queen piece. If you want to do the top a little bit different, you definitely can.